So there's one final rule. This is the only thing that's different than what you've done before the last 4 days. Okay? So let's have a look at this. First, add, okay, 2 to both sides. So plus 2 plus 2. What would you get as a statement? Negative 3 and 12. Is this true or false? True. So that's a true statement. So do we have to worry about adding numbers to both sides? No. And that's what you were doing yesterday. Or Friday, rather. Sorry, 12. Thank you. So now we want to subtract 3 from both sides. So we have negative 5 and 10. We're going to start with the original ones. If you subtract 3, what do you get? Negative 8 is less than 7. Is that a true or a false statement? True. Okay. So subtracting is okay for both sides. Okay. Now what we want to do is add negative 2 to both sides. So we're going to go plus negative 2 plus negative 2. Okay. And so then, so again, we're going to do it to the original. So it's going to be negative 5 and 10. What are you going to get? Negative 7 and 10 plus negative 2? 8. Okay. Is that a true statement? Yeah, still true. So adding negatives, no problem. No problem adding negatives. And really, that's kind of like subtracting, isn't it? Okay. Let's try this. Multiply by 4 on both sides. So we have negative 5 and 10, and now we're going to times both sides by 4. What do we get down below? Negative 20 less than 40. Wow. Is negative 20 less than 40? Still true. So multiplying by a positive is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Now let's try dividing by 2 on both sides. Okay, so negative 5 and 10 divided by 2 is a little bit weird. Okay, this one is going to be, let's go to decimal. What is that? Negative 2.5 less than 5. Is that a true statement? Yeah, it totally is. So dividing by a positive, no problems. Let's try this one. Let's divide by negative 2 on both sides. Okay. So we're going to start with negative 5 and 10. And we're going to divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. So over here we get positive, positive 2.5. And here we get negative 5. Is 2.5 less than negative 5? No. What? So this is going to be false. What would make it true? If the number stayed the same, what would make a true statement? Yep.
If 5 wasn't negative?
No, the number stayed the same. So we still have 2.5. We still have negative 5. But if we did this, then this would be true. So what would make it true would be true if the sign flipped. Okay? So dividing by a negative is kind of special. We're going to have to flip our sign. Well, I wonder about multiplying. Let's try this. So we start with negative 5 and 10. And now we're going to times it by 2. Sorry, times by negative 3. Pardon me, I'm on the wrong question here. Times by negative 3, times by negative 3. And let's see, we get positive 15 less than negative 30. Is that true? No. False. Okay. Again, what's the next question we're going to ask here? Dooman? No, that's the answer. What's the question?
How would it be true?
How would it be true if you flip the sign? So if we had 15 is greater than negative 30, now that would make it true. So when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, right, in order to be true, if the sign flipped. So who can make up a rule to use? Kevin?
When dividing by negatives, flip.
Good. And Emma, sorry? Yeah, so we got to put them together, okay? So the rule is when dividing or multiplying by negatives, we must flip the sign. So by flipping, we mean it changes direction. It doesn't go from less than to less than or equal to. Okay, changes our direction. Okay. Now, I want to highlight this, dividing. The reason why I'm highlighting dividing is 95% of the time in grade 9, that's all we're doing. Is at the last step, this usually is, okay, watch for this on the last step. The last step, you will have to flip your sign. So if we have negative 5x greater than 15, then we say x is less than what? Negative 3. Because we're dividing by negative 5, divide by negative 5, so our sign must change directions. Okay. And it's going to be at the last step where that occurs. So let's do a little practice. Okay. Actually, should I show you now or show you later? Show you now, show you later. Show you now. No, I'll show you later. Haha. There's a reason for this. Okay, and I'll show you later exactly why this is true. Okay. So let's solve here for x. Go ahead for 8, solve for x. So we would add 3x, no big deal. Get 17 is greater than 8x minus 17. How am I going to move the 17? Add, no big deal. And so I get 24 is greater than 8x. And then divide by 8. So this is all what we've done the last few days. X is less than 3. It's really hard to read it in this direction, so you want to change it so x is first and 3 is second. And if you flip x, what do you have to do? Flip the sign. Okay, the sign is really hungry for the 3. Okay, it's going to barf on your page if it doesn't eat the 3. So to graph that, that's really easy. What point goes in the middle? 3. What's one higher? What's one lower? 2. Right? You got to get a picture of your number line. Okay. All right. Open or close circle. Open circle on the boundary point. And should we shade left or right? Left. Okay. So for your check, what number can we use for our check? 0, 1, 2, any number over on this side. Okay. So let's pick, pardon me? Absolutely. All the negatives would work. Okay. 0 would be an easy one because these terms cancel out. 1 would be an easy one, right? Simple multiplications. Harder one would be like negative 340, negative 20, 6, like negative 29. Don't pick super crazy hard numbers. Pick something nice and small. 5s work nice. Okay, they're easy to multiply. 2s work good. 0's good. Stuff like that. Okay, 10s are good. Okay, so for the check, we would say x equals what? Pick something. Sean? Negative 3. So we get negative 3 times negative 3 plus 7 is greater than 5 times negative 3 minus 17. So then we get 9 plus 7 is greater than negative 15 minus 17. What's 9 plus 7? 16 is greater than negative 32. So we don't, is this a true statement? Yeah, true. So check is complete. Okay. Everything's good. A little bit different. We don't pick the same value. We pick something that makes a true statement. So negative 3 is less than 3. We pick something from the shaded side of the graph. Question, Amin?
No.
You sure? Marianne, question? You're good? Is this the same as before? Kinda, a little bit. We just have to be more careful with which number we choose. So we do get choices here. Okay? All right, try the next one. Solve and graph it. We'll do the check together. Go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, what we want to do, now this is where I want to get tricky with you, is now I want you to move the 5x to that side. Okay? So we're going to minus 5x. Is there anything wrong with subtracting? No. We get negative 8x plus 7 is greater than negative 17. Okay. Then we're going to move the 7 by subtracting. Is there anything wrong with subtracting? No. So negative 8x is greater than negative 24. Now we're going to divide by negative 8. So I just want to show you something here. X greater than 3. Are these the same? No. Why? Same question. Why aren't they the same? No, this time we divided by a negative. So Mr. Barker must change his sign. Okay? Mr. Barker must change his sign. So you can see, depending on which way you solve it. Okay? So, come on, erase. Here we go. Look at these two, the blue and the red writing. Here, the first one, we solve for x on the right, and then when we flip them over, we flip the sign. Over here, we solve for x on the left. And so we have x on the right spot, but here we have to flip the sign. Okay, so you got to be careful what you're doing. Sorry? Right here? What did I divide by? A negative. Okay. So up here we did subtracting numbers, which is no problem. But then the last step, I divided by a negative, and that was a problem. So we got to fix that. Okay. Otherwise, we saw the sign would have been incorrect. Okay, C. Multiply in now. Go for it. Solve any way you want. Oh, we didn't graph this one. Let's go back. I'm sorry for jumping around. Graph it, please. Okay. So your boundary point in the middle, one number higher, one number lower. What kind of circle, open or closed? Open. Shaded in correct direction. Okay. Good. Okay, go ahead, do C now. Multiply in, move things away. What's 42 divided by 3? Is that right? Oh, I don't trust you on this. So in the green on the right, I solved it for the x on the right. They're exactly the same though. Okay. I always recommend when you solve it for the x on the right to then go and flip x and negative 14 so your sign flips as well. Okay, so I encourage you to do this last step in blue. Please graph it now. Okay, any questions? Okay, please graph it. Use your number line. What goes in the middle? Okay, so your boundary point. What's one higher? Yeah, you gotta be careful there, right? Negative 13. One lower is negative 15. Open or closed? Closed. Shade left or right? Right. Okay. So yes, so there's a number of different ways to shade. I'm sure you saw that in the video. Okay. Did you guys cover fractions? What if you get something like this? X is less than negative 2/3. What goes in the middle? Negative 2/3. What's one higher? What's one lower? Right? Yeah, and you should probably write here negative 1. Okay? Because that's the value of this. Right? So fractions, no big deal. If I had x is greater than 3 over... Sorry. I don't want to... Let's go 7 over 9. Okay? So if it's 7 over 9, that's the boundary point. It goes in the middle. This would be 8 over 9. This would be 6 over 9, which is what? 1/3. Okay. Now, if you have 6 over 9, I'm pretty okay with that at this, right, for grade 9s. A little bit different for you guys, right? So I'm not too concerned. And then I should shade to the right. Good. You guys okay? All right. Any questions? Perfect. Now here's the deal. The last 2 pieces of homework, I'll be collecting that with all those fractions because that's gold, right? That shows me you know what you're doing. So you have time to catch up on that today. Ask me questions. Ask the person beside you, as well as finish off the homework for inequalities. Okay? So today you have inequalities homework. Get it done. Go. Yep.
6 over 9, that's 2/3.
Oh yeah, there should be 2/3, folks, not 1/3. 2/3. Okay. Thanks, Sean.
So you want the homework we did for homework?
Not right now, though. But I will be collecting it. I'll absolutely be collecting it.